What's up guys, Andrew here from cultureofgaming.com, and recently I got to take to the skies in Ace Combat 7. Ace Combat 7 is the sequel, well, numbered sequel, to Ace Combat 6 all the way in 2007 when it launched for the Xbox 360. There's been a high demand for a new Ace Combat, and I can see why. I'm a bit of a rookie pilot, but I strapped my goggles on and I took to the skies. During my gameplay session, we started with multiplayer. Being someone who had never played in Ace Combat 7, this was about to be a nightmare for me. I thought a lot of this was about to happen. Thankfully, after my first match and getting used to it, I got a quick glance at the controls and I was shooting out flares like the best of them. Despite my incompetence, multiplayer was a lot of fun. Dogfights were engaging, and I always felt like I had someone to lock onto or being locked onto myself. That being said, missiles can be dodged relatively easily as long as you know what you're doing. And if all else fails, like I mentioned earlier, you can bust out a flare. These will immediately take out any missiles in your area, and you'll be free to keep flying. Multiplayer was intense, and I really enjoyed it. Part of it might have been the reason why I was sitting in the same room as my 7 other opponents, and I get to look at their screens and see when they got blown up by one of my missiles. It was both satisfying and a lot of fun to see their reactions. We got to play free-for-all and team deathmatch. Both offered something different, and I really enjoyed the time I had in both. If I had to pick one, I'd go with team deathmatch. Flying over a big gigantic mountain and meeting the other team in the middle is extremely satisfying and made for a huge battle. There's also different stages in the multiplayer. You might be asking, how does different stages affect a game that takes place in the sky? Each arena had different geography. Some had jetting structures, while others had long rolling mountains. This added to how you would fly and made you avoid going too low or too high. There also was the weather effects. Sometimes it was cloudy, which made it very hard to lock onto opponents. It was also breathtaking. I love flying through the clouds and getting the water on my windshield or whatever that's called. Next up, after getting properly destroyed in multiplayer, we jumped into single player. I was really surprised about how much story was in the single player. The story is narrated by a young woman who's kind of caught in the middle of this war between two warring countries. These countries seem to hate each other and used to be a part of each other? I'm not sure. It seemed like there's a big, long lore story with Ace Combat. All I understood was there was a big space elevator and people were unhappy with each other. The story was interesting and I found myself intrigued to know what happened next. Unfortunately, we weren't playing as the woman pilot yet, but we got to see everything else around it happening and how these two parallel stories hopefully would intersect at one point. I played the first 3 missions of Ace Combat 7 single player, and it served as much of a tutorial as the most. Learning how to lock onto people in the skies and things on the ground. There also seems to be a big customization aspect to this game. The plane tree, I think is what they're calling it, is basically a tree of different planes you can unlock and all the upgrades you can have to them. The tree was massive. I had a lot of the currency available, maybe due to being in a demo station, and I kind of unlocked maybe some stuff I shouldn't have. If I really wanted to, I could have kept going and unlocked probably some of the best, but I decided not to see the rest of it. Overall, I had a great time with Ace Combat 7. Not knowing anything about the series, I'm looking forward to it, and maybe this is the first playing game I'll actually get into. As someone who avoids playing the games like Battlefield, it's tough to say exactly, but right now, I'm very intrigued. Ace Combat 7 comes out January 18th for PS4, Xbox, and Windows. Tell me what you guys are looking forward to most. Is it the multiplayer? Is it the single player? Or is it just messing around with airplanes in general? Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to check out cultureofgaming.com for all reviews, previews, and all goodies when it comes to video games.